Greetings gamers, hi. The reason why I'm doing this video is because I want to go through the whole process of playing a video game, recognizing the frame rate it's running at and the resolution and whatnot, and recording it accordingly, importing the file with your capture card if you've recorded from console, or with software if recording from PC. Checking out the properties of it, making sure you've recorded it accordingly to how the game was, running on your computer, and then rendered it in Sony Vegas. Yeah. Now we got here Ava Media. They're my gameplays from Ava Media, which is a live gamer portable. Excuse me. We've got all my PC games here. What we got here? Alien Isolation, Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4, Crisis 2 and 3, Dino D-Day, which was kindly donated to me by one of my friends. I won't say which one because I don't know which one did it. But I thank you for the free games, and I think that one, Sakuraba 1982 Gaming, gave me that one. I'm associated with some nice guys. Far Cry 4, Shadow Mordor, Mortal Kombat Complete Edition. I bought that for just over £5. That's why I got it, just to warm up for Mortal Kombat X. PlanetSide 2, which I've not got into properly yet. Project Cards, which is an early alpha version. I love the footballing scene. Pro Evolution Soccer, Resident Evil Biohazard, and Part 2 Revolutions. Warface and Zombie Army Trilogy. Deep joy. Oh, this background screen was kindly made by somebody who'd listened to my music, and I've got an album on CD Baby, which is linked on my main channel. It's just where it says my music. Album called Dreaming of Equinox, which is a tribute to this guy Jean-Michel Jarre, and the album Equinox, which is where my avatar's from. I hope I don't get done for copyright. So click on the link and listen to each individual track, and you might like what you hear. If you like it, you can buy it. It won't cost you that much. It won't cost you an arm and a leg. If you don't like it, you've only lost 99 cents or 75p or whatever it is. Anyway, enough about that. Dreaming of Equinox. Right, we've got Ava Media. We've got AMD Recordings, which is recorded with AMD's Gaming Evolve, which is the Raptor DVR. We've got Action Recordings, which is this is, yeah? Marilis Action. Right, that's what's recording the screen right now. Right, so let's take, for example, Ava Media. Now this bit of boxing. Carl Frock against Joe Calzaghe. What the hell was that noise? But anyway, that game on PlayStation 3 runs at 1080p 30 frames a second. So have a look at the properties. Right click, properties. 3.91 gigabytes because it's been recorded at 60 megabytes a second. I've gone for the maximum. That's a rule I have. If I'm going to make an initial recording of a gameplay, I record it at the maximum I can record it at, because I know it's going to get diluted in Sony Vegas, i.e. the finished file is going to be a lot lower in file size, but you won't really lose any quality that you'll see anyway. Details: 1920 by 1080, nearly 60 megabytes a second, 29 frames a second. So that's basically roughly how the game runs on a computer. That's the rule you should follow. Never record something and try and render it at 60 frames a second if it runs at 30 frames a second on your computer. Yeah. So, and this is a case in point. Now, when I import this file, open with Vegas Pro. Yes, because basically I want it to match. Now you notice how dark it is there. Right click, properties, disable sample. That's the first thing I do. But you have to click it first to get, you have to click it first, otherwise your properties won't be highlighted. Click it, left click it, then right click it is what I'm saying. Right, now you go on this tab here, change that Aces RRT, which is so bleeding annoying. I wish Sony Vegas would correct this, you know, and have off as, I mean, really, if you should have it off. Oh yeah, that's very nice having it off, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about clicking off. Okay, and even if you click to apply, when you import another video, it'll still be the same. It'll be, by default, it's on Aces RRT, whatever it's called. Right, now the properties of this media, 1920 by 1080. I don't really generally look at this. You can go through all this to, you know, to gain some information from that. But like I say, the properties of this project, 29.970, they're exactly the same as the actual properties of the file you just imported, because it's been recorded how it's run on the computer, if you know what I mean. You just change that to best, like you know, that's the obvious thing to do. I changed that to interpolate fields. These two boxes are unchecked. Okay. But bear in mind, these render settings are based on the imported file. That's another thing. If I had a file recorded from PC, 1080 frames, 1080p at 60 frames a second, I would import it, and the project would be on screen now according to how it was running on the PC. You know. So this is 30 frames a second. Don't render it as 60 frames a second. Right, now all I add to my videos is this. Where are we? Color corrector. Add. Sharpen. Add. Okay. Now the color corrector, I've got a preset called 1.1. And that is just an extra bit of saturation. Jesus. Saturation. God. I'll have to get another mic because I've got headphones on. I think that's what's causing me to, you know, fuck up when I'm talking. 1.1. That's all I've changed that to from 1.000. Sharpen. All I change on the sharpening. My new 0.1. 0.100. Right. Now, subtleties enable the game here. Now, if I click this, click render, this is how I render my videos now. My AVCHD setting for YouTube. Where are we? Sony, it's on this tab, Sony AVC stroke MVC MP4. And the one I've used, the template that I've used is this one. AVCHD 60i. 1920 by 1080, that one. And I've just customized it and then retitled it. Now this one, if I go to customize template, and what this notes is all about, who fills that in, I don't know. But anyway, AVCHD, there's no other selection there. High definition 1920 by 1080. Now that's my regular setting. Sometimes I forget. You might notice a few recent videos of mine where 30 frames a second gameplay is recorded at 60 frames a second, so I'm like contradicting myself. But I'm not actually contradicting myself. I've just forgot to change it here. So that'll be changed to that. Right? I'm not going to render it out because I want to keep it at that. But it'll be changed to that. Is it 29.970? When I render it out. Because like I say, there's no point rendering a 30 frames a second gameplay at 60 frames a second. 25.999.360, which is the top rate for this kind of video file. It starts at 192. That's which is I don't know. It's not very very low quality. That's about the minimum I'd go to. But that one is what I'm using there. But you can go to that 15,000 one there. I would use that as a minimum. And you know, the videos still look good, and it'll take less time to upload because it'll be lower in file size. So render using GPU if available. I do that because my GPU supports it. You know, you go to system, you check GPU. OpenCL is available, so obviously I'm going to use that, and it It renders the video a lot quicker. Change that to best, and away you go. Render it. Now, why I use this one is that it's the best. It gives me the best of all. Well, it's the best of. It's the best all-rounder, basically. God, when I get it out, best all-round file I've used, and I've gone through them all. Believe me. Windows Media Video is better quality, but the file sizes are too big. You know, because no point render it as a WMV if you're gonna, render it at say 80 or 75% quality. You want to render it at 100% quality, but the file size is still relatively small. AVI file is a huge file size. We're talking a lot of gigabytes, but it's like that for the reason it's lossless. It's the highest quality, but it's not practical for YouTube. Main concept AVC/AAC MP4 is what I used to swear by, but if I was to render this out, all the video, especially the dark areas, you'll see them pixelating like crazy when there's a lot of camera movement. So don't use that one. If you've not got a problem using that, then by all means use it. It is a very good video format. But I've gone through so many, and I found that the Sony one itself, and that's, where are we? This one. When I customize the template, like I say, change that to 29.970 if your video has been recorded at 29.970. Right, I think I've covered everything there. That's basically how I would render, import. So I would record this in the first place, import it and render it. That's the process with that particular video. Right, and all you have to do, it's like Battlefield Hardline here. This video recorded
today as an apparent chaos in Cormac County today.
Got a guy.
Oh, what's that bleeding noise? You can tell that gameplay has been recorded at 60 frames a second. But if you right click the properties, it's 6.87 gigabytes. It's been recorded at 60 megabytes a second. But here's the thing. It's been recorded at 1280 by 720 because the AVerMedia capture card only records at 60 frames a second if you lower the resolution to 720. It won't record 1080p 60 frames a second, just like the Elgato does, the new HD60. But I'm finding if I do this, look, 59 frames a second, if I import that into Sony Vegas, I'll do exactly what I've just done with the previous video. I'll import it accordingly to how this has been recorded, because it's been recorded basically at the same frame rate as the video, the gameplay itself. Right, do the same with that, but like I say, you just render it accordingly to how the properties show it. Yeah, 59 frames a second. I render that as 59.940. Right, but I'll increase that to 1920 by 1080. That's basically how I'd render that, because you don't really see. If you see a video on YouTube and it's 1080p 60 frames a second, like in this case, the original video is recorded at 720p, but you don't notice any difference. And people look at my Battlefield Hardline videos, which I'm going to be producing. I'm going to do a few co-ops with Rhythmworks. We're both raring to go, and co-op gameplays playing Battlefield Hardline. It should be a lot of fun. But you'll see my videos look pretty sweet, and I noticed the Level Cap and Co. They've been recording gameplays from Xbox One because it's of the early access thing and streaming the gameplays. But even the gameplays have not been streaming. They've only put out the video on YouTube at 1080p. They don't really need to. They can record at 720p or 1080p depending on the capture card, and record at 60 frames a second, because that's how the games run. You know, if it runs at 900p, the PS4 version of Battlefield Hardline, then, you know, I'll still import it in the same way and render it in the same way. I don't think there's anything else I could cover really. I hope I've gone over everything in over the whole process of playing a video game, recording a video game, importing the recording and rendering it out and making it look sweet as a nut, you know, making it look really nice. Who wants to see so like graphics from the latest graphics card, you know, the latest game where the graphics are stunning, and then the video on YouTube is 30 frames a second, 720p, you know, all because that person knows about their PC but doesn't know the first thing about recording video games and rendering them out. And I hope this video has helped somebody if you've been struggling trying to get decent quality. Just followed my advice, and because I'm qualified to give advice because I started recording using a DVD recorder, and that's what's taught me about, you know, squeezing the best out of your recordings, because the recording quality from a DVD recorder is only standard definition, so you got to play the game in standard definition, you know what I mean? Anyway, that's how I started, and this is how I do it these days. Hope that's helped somebody. I'm PEMBY'S66. Download my album. Take note of all what I've said in the video, and I hope that's really helped somebody. Right? I'm out of here.